Well, the task of making sure those oxygen kits get to where they're most needed, once Jersey Post has got them to Poland, well, that will fall to the Crown agents. It's the British International Development Agency, whose supply chain lead is Louise Quay. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. And Louise, just how important will these oxygen kits be?
They are absolutely critical. We work really closely with the Ministry of Health and have been procuring the medical supplies for the last 5 years. And as you can imagine, they've experienced an absolute bombardment of their supplies. So we're stepping in both to support the supplies that have been destroyed, but also to help them to respond to such an extreme trauma and make sure that they can provide life-saving support to their citizens.
Yeah, you mentioned trauma there. That is another important part of the kit that's required at the moment and that Jersey has helped to provide.
We've been absolutely delighted by the response of Jersey citizens and Jersey Overseas Aid. We are procuring medical supply kits, trauma kits, to go straight into Ukraine. And this is an example where a very small amount of money can actually save a life.
And Louise, if you would just set the scene for those of us who obviously can't even understand or even contemplate what life is like out there on the border.
Well, I've just returned from the border, and it was a sight that was really quite shocking. So if you can imagine that it's incredibly cold, that many of these women and children have taken days to cross the border, it really struck home that those children have had their childhood taken from them, and the trauma and shock on their faces was really quite a difficult thing to engage with. It was really troubling.
You've seen where this kit goes. Thousands of pounds now pouring into the Bailiffs Ukraine Fund at the moment. What else is needed, would you say?
One of the things that the Ministry of Health are really speaking to us and asking us for is protection for their paramedics. So as you can imagine, many of those paramedics are going into conflict situations to support those who are injured. So we are seeking, on top of the oxygen and the trauma kits, to be able to provide those first responders with protective equipment to ensure that they can get into the arena as quickly as possible and provide life-saving support.
And finally, what message would you like to send to all those giving money from across the Channel Islands this evening?
The Ukrainians need our help. They have done nothing to provoke this conflict, and any support that we can give them is so gratefully received, both by my Ukrainian team and the Ukrainian people more generally. So I thank you so much for the generosity that we've seen today, and any further donations are gratefully received.
Of course, Louise Quay will leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for your time today.